Konnichiwa, ni hao, hola, guten tag, aloha, buongiorno, namaste, drasvutria, shalom, bonjour, what's up? I'm Zan, and welcome to the Spiraken Manga News Podcast, bringing you the eyes on the latest manga news for the week of Thursday, April 14th to Wednesday, April 20th, 2022. Remember to like, share, subscribe, and check out our manga review podcast at www.spiraken.com. If you have any questions or comments or concerns, you can email me personally at Zan, that's Xan at Spiraken.com. And if you enjoy what you hear, support our Patreon, help us create more fun content for you to enjoy. And now, if that's out of the way, let's actually get to the manga news of the week. And we've got tons of it this week, very varied. We're going to first start off with some crazy manga news. The former editor-in-chief of Shogakukan's Weekly Shonen Sunday magazine, Takanori Ichihara, announced on Twitter last Friday that he resigned from Shogakukan. Yeah, he quit. He stated that he will instead write manga as an original author instead of as an illustrator. Now, fun fact, Ichihara had the second longest tenure out of all the magazine's editors-in-chief. The person who holds the longest tenure is Kazuki Tanaka, who served the role from 1976 to 1984. And since he was editor-in-chief, Ichihara personally made decisions on manga content, from debut one-shots from new talent to new series from veteran writers, based on his preferences and aesthetic. And since then, he said he would take full responsibility for the fate of the magazine, and he considered fostering the talent of new manga artists the magazine's biggest priority. His vision was the magazine including experienced writers with a mix of new and old to bring a unique vision forth. Now, he had stepped down already as editor-in-chief from October after being in the position for 6 years, when he started in 2015. But now he's officially going to be creating his own work. There's no word on what he's making, but good luck to you, Takanori-san. All right, next, let's get into some Kickstarter news. Yes, if you like manga and you like paying for it to be made, this is the one for you, because it's been revealed that the Guru Hero illustration duo, in collaboration with Samuel Satine, are launching a Kickstarter campaign for a new 162-page manga titled Uniko Awakening. Now, Uniko Mizami ne Ohanashi is based on Osamu Tezuka's Uniko manga, which is the story of a unicorn who has the power to help those who love him. This character has traveled through time into different countries to make tons of new friends. A couple years back, there was actually 2 Kickstarters, one to have the series released completely in full digitally, and the second one was a remastering edition of it. Now, the pre-launch page is currently live, and the project will launch later this spring. So if you're a Kickstarter backer, join this now and get ready. Pay attention, because this is going to be a big one. And what's Kickstarter without backer awards? So besides the manga itself, if you do sign up for the Kickstarter, you have the opportunity to get some 16 by 24 collectible prints by various artists, including Akira Himekawa, who worked on the Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess manga, Kamoe Shimahara, who made Witch Hat Atelier, Junko Mizuno, So Lee, Katie Longoa, Peach Momoka, and many others. So check it out if you have a chance. The link will be in the show notes. So next, what's a Spiraken Manga News episode without some manga award news? Yes, the official website of the Japanese International Manga Award announced on Friday that the 16th competition is open for entries. Entries will be open until July 8th, and this is the International Manga Award, so anyone can enter. Artists and publications can enter both published and unpublished work in the competition, excluding ones that won any past Japan International Manga Awards. The entries must include a manga of more than 16 pages that the artist has produced within the last 3 years. Either the artist or writer of the entry must be a non-Japanese national, and this award, according to the website, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs founded the International Manga Award in 2007 for the purpose of expanding international exchange and mutual understanding through the manga culture, which is widely accepted around the world. This award honors manga artists who contribute to the development of manga culture in the world. And the last year's took place on March 4th, and the winner was Ami Dagon, who won the Gold Award for Days of Sand, and the 16th iteration will take place in Tokyo on February 2023. So, yeah, see how that goes. So now let's get into some weird news. This is kind of, well, let me get to it. So there is a Japanese politician by the name of Kenzo Fujisue, who is a liberal Democratic Party member, who made his opinion about a certain controversial topic known by publishing a full-page ad in the Nikkei financial newspaper. In the ad, he is holding copies for Tawawa on Monday, fan service manga, also known as Gitsuyobi no Tawawa. And it's showing him holding volumes 3 and 4 with a big thing under it which says, purchased. And this is a guy who was elected to the Diet's House of Councils in 2004 and participates in the Japanese Manga Council. So he's kind of a big deal. And it's ballsy what happened. So to catch you up, there's been some issues with this series because it's very fan servicey. And some people are saying that this is one of the examples of people who are drawn younger than they appear, and it could be construed as pedophilia. And it's a whole thing. If you want to read more about it, there is a show... links in the show notes, which is really in-depth because there's a lot going on. But long story short, he is one of the governing members of the Diet's House of Counselors who kind of mediates what's going on, and he's part of the group that's setting up the Child Prostitution and Child Pornography Prohibition Act amendments. His position on it is that it's a little bit too harsh. It's focusing on things which technically they shouldn't focus on, and they're not taking into account things like age, time, like characters who were drawn as adults, they look kind of childlike. It's a whole thing. Like I said, if you want, read the article. It gets really into it, but it's got a lot of criticism about it, and it's kind of a ballsy move to do that. I don't know how this is going to end for him, but I mean, hey, who knows? Oh boy. I'm sorry, I'm like kind of, my brain is frazzled because that's such a big topic, and it's one where we could do an entire episode based on it. If you'd like us to do an episode based around this situation, leave me a tweet at Spiraken on Twitter. That's Spirakn. Leave me a tweet that you want me to cover this in a huge episode. I'll get a couple of other reviewers and manga aficionado to talk about this because this is a huge topic, and I am not qualified for it. I mean, I review a lot of manga, don't get me wrong, but it's a huge thing. Anyway, next we have some manga publication news. Shonen Gahosha has announced that a new online magazine will be launched on May 25th. This new magazine will be titled Young King Lambda and will focus on isekai manga. So those are the ones where someone's sent to another world. Now, the first issue will launch 2 new series. First off, you have Relic Underground by Yu Fujiyama with art by Shizuku Ichigone. And the second title is Jokije to Hanin no Otomege Tenshi Mokosho wa Koroku Taisho no Naka, or reincarnated as a female officer in a criminal otome game. The objective is to capture the target. So, yeah, they're opening up kind of strong. You have a fantasy one, and then you have one which is your typical isekai into a different video game. So let's see how this manga magazine turns out. I actually am excited for it. But that is the basic manga news for this part. So let's get into some licensing news, and we've got a lot. So stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen. First off, Fudakia Boys Love Manga Service. We haven't heard from them in a while, but they've announced that they've licensed 10 new titles from Shonen Gahosha. As usual, once these titles are released, you can read select chapters for free from the Fudakia library, and if you're a subscriber, you can access the full volume. The titles are Ore Tachi no Hanashi wa Shinyo by Samba Maikawa, Boss to Yasu by Sanosuke, Koi wa Shiru Nide Made Oe by Rito Ito, No Senes Senin Tachi wa Yukaku de Koi wa Siru by Makuya, Suki ni nata hito ga Barineko de Shita by Hane, Koda-san Uchi Kamasho Nigarare Otoko to Batsuichi Otoko by Toguro Nakamura, Yusha-sama no Are ga Chitkyu Sugite Komimashita by Marino, Koi ni Kizuta Sono Hihara by Ryo-ito, Aseta Suki to Amai Kiba by Salty, and Kyomo Futaga ni Sereratsu Mas by Kana Izumi. So there's no date for these. There's no word on what their translated titles are going to be. It's just as usual. We've licensed this, and we'll see when it comes out. Next is kind of crazy because a couple of weeks ago, we talked about the fact that Ayakashi Triangle has been licensed by Seven Seas Entertainment. They're going to be releasing the first uncut volume digitally in November of 2022, this year. However, Viz Media has announced that they are currently moving all of the manga over to Shonen Jump Plus. So it's like, what the hell's going on? Who has the license? I'm guessing that the uncut is going to Seven Seas, but the regular cut is going to be in Viz's hand? I don't know. It's like, what's happening? So yeah, we'll stay tuned on this, but this is kind of crazy. This is a big like pissing contest move. Like, yeah, this is ours till you take it, bitch. So they gotta kind of fight on it. But anyway, so that's going on. And then Yen Press has announced it has licensed 3 new manga, 4 new light novel series, 1 new art book, and a new omnibus edition of Mari Yamazaki's Thurei Rome manga, which is the story of a Japanese man who ends up in Rome, and it's a Roman guy who ends up in Japan and starts using it to make a bathhouse. It was originally released as 3 hardcover editions. Now it's going to be 1 omnibus. So that's being released. Then for the books, we've got Vision 2022 Illustrations art book. This is the new collection for art lovers and book collectors alike. This is the ultimate collection of Pixiv artists are back, and there's 170 of some of the greatest creators on the platform, all of whom have made an impact on the artistic field with an abundance of styles from retro to modern and beyond. This is something for everyone to love. So check it out. For light novels, we have Apparently Disillusioned Adventurers Will Save the World by Shinta Fuji with art by Susumu Koroi. A playful take on the isekai trope that will have a good fit for readers of Banished from the Hero's Party. I decided to live a quiet life in the countryside. Nick used to be a member of a veteran adventure party, helping his undisciplined friends with the account whenever he could. But what was his reward? Getting accused of embezzlement and kicked out by the leader he respected? Before long, he finds a few other jaded adventurers and kindred spirits, and together they form their own unstoppable party. So this one is going to be fun because I like Banished from the Hero's Party. This one's more like, we're all angry at the world, let's see what damage we can do. So I hope it's very revenge-filled. Next light novel is Arya Sometimes Hides Her Feelings in Russian. And this is by Sun 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 with art by Momoko. A romantic comedy perfect for fans of Chitose is in the Ramune bottle, and the girl I saved on the train turned out to be my childhood friend. Masachika Kuse sits next to Arya, a girl of Russian and Japanese descent. She's beautiful, haughty, and an exceptional student, while Masachika is nerdy and known for being a slacker. He's an easy target for her comments in Russian, which he's all too happy to translate, except he can understand what she's really saying. So this is a twist of I'm going to speak in another language, but I know exactly what you're saying. So that's kind of cool and sweet. Next light novel is God Game We Play, or Kami wa Game ni Uteru. This is by Kei Sazana with art by Toro Tomose. An epic fantasy soon to be an anime. When the gods grow bored, they decide to spice up their eternal existence by challenging all takers in an ultimate battle of wits. Of course, these deities are capricious, unfair, and incomprehensible at the best of times, so winning is virtually impossible for a mere mortal. Even so, things are bound to get interesting when a former goddess and a genius human boy team up in a bid to win the game to end all games. Then finally, the last light novel is King's Proposal by Koshi Tachibana with art by Sunako. A new light novel series from the creative team behind the legendary Date A Live. Saika Kozaki is an all-powerful witch with looks to die for. She is the only woman who could thwart the mysterious entities attempting to destroy the world once every 300 hours. When Saika is mortally wounded, however, she bequeaths both her power and body to the normal high school boy who happens upon her, Mushiki Kuga. But just because Mushiki has her abilities doesn't mean he can control them. To stand a chance of saving the world, he'll have to attend an academy for mages as Saiki, all while keeping his identity under wraps. So for Yen Press light novels, we've got The Demon Sword Master of Excalibur Academy by Yu Shimizu with art by Asuka Kagan. The manga adaptation of the light novel series, soon to be an anime. 1,000 years ago, Leonis Death Magnus, undead sorcerer and the greatest of all dark lords, entered magical stasis during a climactic battle. When he awoken, he finds a beautiful silver-haired young woman named Marcelia standing before him. More shockingly, Leonis has been transformed into a 10-year-old boy. Now he'll have to adapt to this strange era and deal with the twisted monsters called voids, all while keeping his true powers a secret from his lovely new guardian. Next manga is The Gay Who Turned Kaiju, or Kaiju ni Nata Gay, by Kazuki Minamoto. Bullied for being gay, teenager Takashi Arashi wished he could be something else. But who could have predicted he'd transform into a giant-headed sci-fi creature? Takashi's tumultuous emotions become the catalyst for personal and social exploration of the LGBTQ experience in this quirky, profound manga from prolific BL artist Kazuki Minamoto. And then the last manga that we're talking about is Touring After the Apocalypse by Saiki Saito. With a surprisingly upbeat tone, readers of Girls' Last Tour will enjoy this story of a trip throughout apocalyptic Japan. All alone after the end of days, 2 girls bike through the empty ruins of Japan, and they're not about to let the collapse of civilization get in the way of sightseeing. Even when the world ends, their journey goes on. So these are the mangas and light novels that are going to be released by Yen Press, but they have one more announcement. They've announced a new imprint, Ise Press, that's going to focus specifically on Korean content. So if you're looking for manhwas or the Korean novels, that's all going to be under Ise Press. Now, this is a collaboration with Yen Press, Redice Studios, and Reverse to release content in print this fall. They're going to have 9 launch titles, including High B and BTS, Seven Fates Chaco, High B and FN's Dark Moon, and High B and Tomorrow's The Star Seekers. So those are 3 of the 9 titles. So we're going to have to wait and see how that goes. So those were the licenses for the month, or the week. Let's reiterate them. First off, all Ise Press launch titles are going to come out in fall of 2022. All Fudakia BL manga titles being released by Fantasia Inc. in digital format. There's no date, so it's to be announced. And all Yen Press titles are going to be announced eventually. We don't have an exact date yet. So last but not least, we have some general updates. First off, on May 17th, Ayumi Kimura will launch a new manga titled Kachime ga na no wa oreke ka, or known as Am I the Only One with No Chance of Winning? This first love revenge comedy manga will mark the first time Kimura is being serialized in a shonen magazine. This is going to launch in Kodansha's shonen magazine Edge. On May 2nd, Osamu Yamamoto will launch a new manga titled Chichi o Yaku, or Burning Father. The manga is teased with the tagline, A Coiled Bond Will Never Break. This will debut in Shogakuken's Big Comic Original magazine. And then last and not least, our final bit of news. On April 8th, the manga adaptation of the TV adaptation of Asami Koseki's Love All Play Badminton manga launched on Shueisha's Tonari no Young Jump magazine. So, to translate, the manga adaptation of a novel that was translated into an anime first just was released on the 8th. Got it? Good. So the story follows Ryo Mizushima, who joined his middle school's badminton team full of motivation, but without a proper coach. And it ended up in obscurity. Nevertheless, he did eventually reach the professional tournament on his physical strength. Now he joins the prestigious Yokohama Minato High School's badminton team under the legendary coach Ibihara and is surrounded by talented teammates. He strives to become a top athlete and takes his high school team to the Inner High Tournament. The series is currently simul-streaming on Crunchyroll if you want to check it out. And, well, yeah. It's a sports manga about badminton. Hooray! Yeah. So that is the news for the week. I know that I was kind of enigmatic with some of it. I do apologize. It's just that some stuff I felt kind of like I don't have a right to talk about. So, yeah. But if you have any questions or comments or concerns, you can email me personally at Zan, that's XAN at Spiraken.com, or tweet me at Spiraken. I hope you found this informative and inventive. And as usual, I'm Zan, I'm Gonzville. Catch you guys next time. Remember to like, share, subscribe, and keep reading manga. See you later.